everybody. My name is Ashton. I am the coach of your Halifax Huntails. I'm here to bring you an analysis of our Week 1 game of Season 5 of the Ultra Recon Doubles Draft League versus my opponent, Lily. She is new to the Ultra Recon family. One thing to note is that this is my first recording. I have yet to record anything with regards to Draft League content or anything for that matter. Normally, I would have preferred to have done a recording of a draft analysis beforehand, but it's just how it is. It's all right. I'll have to do it for the next league whenever we do switch over to singles, but it's okay. So yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit of an analysis, kind of look back on how the battle played out. So my opponent Lily, they are the coach of the team named Saucy Baka. I love that team name. And they had access to Goldengo, Chiyu, Komao, Tinkaton, Zoroark, Hisui, Starmie, Thwackey, Stonjourner, Riolu, Vulpix Alola, and Bombardier, as well as Terra Normal as their drafted Terra type. So lots of threatening combinations within the draft. The thing I was most worried about with respect to what my draft was weakest to, found that a very hard time prepping for Chiyu. Just thought it had a very good matchup against me. Lots of Pokemon that don't really take hits well on the special side, not to mention just, the speed tiers that I had. A lot of mons that, were faster than it on my draft didn't necessarily have good typing advantages, notably Whimsicott and Spectrier. So, kind of hard to prep for that, so seeing that kind of sucked. But, hey, it's good on my opponent for noticing that weakness. They're looking to obviously exploit that on my draft. Now, when I look at their 6, the first things that I start to notice are, okay, Riolu's here. Now, I wasn't expecting Riolu. If I would have replaced one Mon on this set of 6 that my opponent brought, I would have initially expected Starmie. I thought Starmie had a very, very strong matchup this week versus my draft. I was definitely considering it as one of the 6 best Pokemon for my team. That's not to say that Riolu's not going to perform as well as Starmie is this week, but, I just thought it would have been more likely bring, given what I brought especially. I wasn't exactly prepared for Starmie as much as I would have liked to have been, but hey, when I see Riolu, I immediately think of coaching, and so I'm looking to seeing, okay, what are some potential threats that he brought that he could potentially be trying to threaten with here. And I was, after doing some calcs beforehand while I was team building, I knew Grookey with Eviolite and Sword Stance could be a problem, so on top of that with Prankster coaching, which I wasn't planning for, could definitely be a big issue. Things like Spectre can't exactly 2-hit KO comfortably all the time, especially with Grassy Terrain being up, depending on his investments. But so yeah, Grookey probably the second most annoying Pokemon for me here. And then Zoroark with its illusion shenanigans always going to be an issue. Something like a spec set really could threaten my ability to win later on if Lily's able to catch me off guard with that, bring it in, disguise it as something that I'm expecting to be something else, and then hit me with a Specs Shadow Claw or something like that. Could potentially be catastrophic for me, but we'll see. So yeah, without further ado, I guess another thing to note here, for what I want to lead, Ting Do and Bronzong, I was kind of inspired by a set that I saw in VGC where the person brought Bulldoze Bronzong next to Steel Terra Ting Do, and Steel Terra being my drafted Terra type. I thought, well, this is kind of something I would like to run, and I saw a good opportunity to run it in this matchup alongside Trick Room Bulldoze Bronzong, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if that works here. But I guess something worth noting is the only thing that could stop Trick Room coming up is, at least that I can see, is Fake Out on Tinkaton Group Thwackey. But yeah, let's see how things play out. I'm gonna get on into it. So as I said before, that was my dedicated lead, is Ting Do and Bronzong, so I will pause here, and you might notice I'll pause a lot. Sorry for that. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything key. I want to try to explain my thought process as well as I can. So yeah, I see this lead, knew immediately that this is one of the prime targets for coaching Riolu to sit next to, being Thwacky, and I immediately think it's going to be Eviolite. Like, I can't really do much about it at this stage. Don't have any knockoff users on the field. Not anything with Toxic. I didn't bring Toxic on any Mons this week. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can't get off my game plan here. I had initially thought between a couple plays. I wanted to either double protect to scout for the fake out, or I was just going to steal Terra Ting Do, protect, and Trick Room hard. But we'll see that does not go exactly to plan here. So I do protect Ting Do, didn't Terra, but I do get faked out here, which is alright. But at least I was able to scout out what his plans were in response. So now I do Terra turn 2, as he gets off the coaching on his Thwacky. And this was a tech that I was not expecting. I did not consider Taunt a Taunt user. As you see, my Trick Room does fail. That was one thing just an oversight in prep. Very good prep on my opponent's behalf. Definitely would not expected Taunt Thwacky. I would have expected 4 attacks. Thwacky with Fake Out. Maybe Sword Stance as a setup move with 3 attacks with Fake Out. But yeah, at this stage of the game, I'm thinking, okay, well, if he doesn't have Sword Stance, and he only has Grassy Glide, because I thought Grassy Glide is always a fairly likely bring on Thwacky, although despite the fact that 6 that I brought, not including Steel Terra Ting Do, Grassy Glide doesn't necessarily hit as hard, but just a good move. And it's able to break through the speed control with Trick Room that I have, so would have been a good bring. But I'm seeing that, and I'm like, so he either doesn't have Sword Stance or Superpower, which I thought was a pretty likely bring. Superpower being able to hit my slacking relatively hard, as well as a couple other options on my draft. But I was kind of surprised. I was like, so if he doesn't have Superpower, how is he dealing with Ting Do? So I'm sitting here thinking what my next, my best way to challenge this Thwacky is at the moment. And you see here that I decided to see what the Thwacky wants to go for against me as he sets up another coaching, and I just tried to target the Riolu. Now I was not expecting that Zen Headbutt not to kill that turn, otherwise I would have double targeted the Riolu with 2 single hitting moves. And he makes an aggressive switch here. I was not expecting this play either. I was going to try and get up. I should have probably targeted the Riolu just to get it out of the way. But I wasn't necessarily threatened by another coaching going up, so I felt like, best to try to read the situation and go for Protect, just to scout out to see if he even had the fighting move on Thwacky. So I stand by my play, although in hindsight, I don't think I'd ever would have expected the Chi-Yu to come in that turn, given that I was a Ting Do, a +2. But it wasn't a bad play on my opponent's part. They definitely brought it in at a pretty significant moment for them. Very threatening situation. I was very worried about the Specs fire type attack coming towards my Ting Do slot. Definitely would have killed based on what I was calculating. It had a good chance to anyway, from the range I was at. I did have significant special defense investment in my Ting Do that week, just in the case of Chi-Yu, as well as the Cold Burberry on my Bronzong in case he decided to lock into Dark Pulse and go for Bronzong there. But it ended up working out in my favor. Only a Heat Wave, and the Heat Proof from Bronzong really came in handy there. I didn't bring Earthquake on my Ting Do to avoid hitting my Bronzong, but I also thought Stomping Tangent was just a better ground coverage move anyway. I knew Grassy, especially where Grassy terrain was going to be a factor, it just seemed like the better choice. But so everything kind of worked out. I only took about half of my remaining health on my Ting Do that turn from the Chi-Yu, which I thought was pretty, significant. I was able to trade off half of my health for getting Chi-Yu out of the game, which I think was a very, very fair trade-off here. Definitely worth taking. But yeah, so now we're facing down. Moving on, now we're facing down still a +2 Thwacky. Not yet revealed a fighting move, so I'm kind of unsure as to whether or not this Thwackey is able to hit me yet. I've only seen it go for Grassy Glide as an offensive, so I'm kind of thinking it's choosing to click that against my Ting Do, despite the fact I'm still Terra Steel, makes me think it doesn't have a fighting move. Kind of leaning more towards the Sword Stance as the final move, but we'll see if we can't get that revealed as the game goes on here. My opponent decides to bring in Como. Now, I'm not really sure what this Como is built to do, as we see it Terra Normals and reveals the Hyper Voice. So it is a special Throat Spray Como, which I was not expecting. I would have thought this would have been the primary, if not the secondary, choice for coaching Riolu, as we do see it the next turn. So it might be a mixed Como here, not really sure. I thought this was a very impressive turn as well, that my Ting Do, despite the fact that the Como had gotten a Throat Spray, used its Throat Spray, that my Ting Do was still able to survive the Flamethrower, just going to show how bulky Ting Do is with when you invest in special defense. And Vessel of Ruin is active, just unbelievable what this mon can accomplish. Now, I never calced to see how much investment the Como might have had given that damage. I was just kind of focused on the fact that I had double targeted that slot that turn, and so it kind of worked out. Didn't really think to calc back after the match either. But if that roll mattered, I apologize. I don't know if it did, given the large gap between, well, I guess 7%, but large gap given the bulk of Ting Do that the Flamethrower damage missed out on. So I was kind of confident that it wasn't enough special attack investment regardless to ever kill my Ting Do from that range. So it kind of worked out in my favor there. And yeah, he brings back in Thwackey, so I'm kind of feeling threatened here. I know I'm at low enough percent at this point if he's adamant Thwackey to potentially be knocked out by Grassy Glide, so I'm going to protect and preserve my Ting Do's health a little bit here. And I know for a fact that at this stage that Riolu does not have a way to stop Bronzong Trick Rooming, does not get access to Taunt or Fake Out, despite the fact that Sarvin out of turn Fake Out wouldn't have worked anyway. So I'm fairly confident that either Riolu is going to coaching or attack my Ting Do this turn. I feel like he really wants that Ting Do gone. It's a very, very big thorn in his team's side here. So I'm going to read that play, do my best to read that play here, as he does end up going for the double target on my Ting Do and just getting the Trick Room. So now I'm in a really strong position, because I know both of those two moves, again, from this range, are not going to be able to kill my Thwackey. I was shocked when this Grassy Glide didn't kill. As you see, it does 10%, so I was in range before. And I finally get rid of the Riolu here, so coaching is off the table for the rest of the match. And so now knowing how much Grassy Glide does from this Thwackey, I'm going to protect again to just stay out of range and avoid the Fake Out from Tinkaton. As I do Ironhead the Tinkaton, which I thought was a Tinkaton, and ended up being Zoroark, so I did reveal the illusion successfully there without it being a thing. Now, here's an example of, you know, the game we know and love. I do think this is not a John at all. I'm still, you know, more than happy with how this game's been playing out thus far. But funnily enough, if that Grassy Glide didn't crit there, I had targeted the Zoroark that turn, and he's been content on clicking Grassy Glide against my Ting Do. So I did reveal U-turn earlier, which I missed out on. My apologies. I believe Ting Do may have swept after that. Now, I'm not too sure. I would have had to protect the turn. Yeah, it all depends on... Actually, no. Yeah, I would have attacked the Zoroark this turn. Tinkaton would have come in front of the Fake Out. I would have protected. And Grassy Train would have healed me outside of Grassy Train range. And Trick Room would have been up that extra turn. So I would have just, you know, knowing either the... Well, I would have targeted the Tinkaton just to, you know, after the turn of Fake Out and protecting the Fake Out, I would have targeted the Tinkaton. Now, whether or not I would have had Protect or not could have dictated something, and then Trick Room would have ended. So I guess either way, it might not have been a 6-0 there, but there was definitely a chance for it in my eyes. I could have preserved, on the turn that Trick Room ended, if I was able to get rid of the Tinkaton that turn, I could have preserved Ting Do, gone into something like Magmortar, and potentially gotten the 6-0 that way. But, you know, it was just funny. I thought it was an interesting situation, but I think at the end of the day, this put me in a better position to get that guaranteed win late game. You know, Sword Stance Sword work outside of Trick Room is definitely a threat, so definitely not Johnning about that. A little bit unfortunate there, didn't quite get the kill with the Iron Head. I don't know if that roll mattered or not, or if it even was a roll. If I get it double down here, decide to go into my secondary pairing of slacking plus what is this thing called? Oh gosh, I'm blanking. I'm blanking so hard. Graphia, right? I had to hover over there. Decided to get off the Sucker Punch while Trick Room was active, knowing that my Zoroark could easily do a very high amount of damage to my slacking, and I knew that the Thwackey wasn't in any position to do much damage back to my slacking, so only given that I knew that it only had Grassy Glide and U-Turn, neither of those are doing a lot. So we see this turn, the U-Turn goes into my slacking, oh, it is about 17%. I'm able to get the Sucker Punch off on the Zoroark, as he probably did end up attacking my slacking there, and get the Doodle up, so now I don't have to worry about Truant for the end game here. And then, yeah, just a 4v2, and I'm able to get slacking in a position to win here, and you're going to see that the Halifax Huntails come out of week 1 with 4-0. It was a very, very good week, a very big showing by Ting Do that week, oh my gosh. And I'm very thankful for one of my friends coming up with that nickname, because that is... The Mon really did show what the Ting do this week. It put on a very good showing. But yeah, guys, that's it. I am going to be doing another analysis here of my week 2 battle in the near future. I'm going to have that posted here shortly following this one, and I'm going to see if I can't get live comms done for future battles. We'll see. Might have to wait a couple weeks here, but yeah, I'm going to see if I can't get that set up here soon. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.